chapter Major Domains of the Earth. Now, what do we mean by the major domains of the Earth? Do we even realize that the surface of our Earth is a complex zone in which there are three components? Those components are solid, gaseous, and water portion of the environment, which even meet, overlap, and interact. Have you ever given it a thought? So, the solid portion of that earth on which we live is called the lithosphere. The gaseous layers that surround the earth is the atmosphere, where we have oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and other gases. Similarly, water covers a very big area of our earth's surface, and this part is called as the hydrosphere. This hydrosphere comprises water in all its forms, which can be ice, water, and even the water vapor. In this video, we are going to cover first the concept of lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere. Second, we will study about the 7 major continents of the world. Third, we will discuss about the 5 major oceans of the world. And last, we will be discussing about the concept of biosphere. Now let us begin with discussing the concept of lithosphere. What do we mean by lithosphere? Well, the solid portion of the earth is called as the lithosphere. It is even the uppermost layer of the earth's crust which is capable of supporting the life. It comprises the rocks of the earth's crust and even the thin layers of the soil which contains the nutrient elements which further sustain certain organisms. The lithosphere covers about 2/7 or we can say 29.22% of the total surface area of the earth. The lithosphere, or we can say there are two main divisions of the earth's surface. The continents are the large land masses, whereas the ocean basins are the huge water bodies. We are clear with the concept of lithosphere? Now we will move on to discuss about hydrosphere. What is hydrosphere? We all know that Earth is called as the blue planet. More than 71% of the earth is covered with water. So, hydrosphere consists of water in all its forms. Examples could be running water in oceans and rivers, in lakes, even ice in the glaciers, underground water, and the water vapor in the atmosphere. So, in all these forms, we say there are water which is present. Hence, all this comprise the hydrosphere. Now, more than 97% of the Earth's water is said to be found in the oceans. And since it is the ocean water, it is too salty for human use. A large portion of the rest of the water is in the form of ice sheets and glaciers or the underground water. And hence, a very small percentage is available as fresh water which can be actually used by the human beings. Hence, despite being called as a blue planet, we do face a shortage of water. Why? Because we have seen that most of the water is present in oceans and ocean water is very salty in nature and we cannot use it. So, the fresh water, the availability of fresh water, that percentage is very low. Hence, there is a shortage of water as well. Now, after discussing the concept of lithosphere and hydrosphere, let us talk about atmosphere. What do we mean by the term atmosphere? We all know that Earth is surrounded by a layer of gas. Now, that layer of gas by which our Earth is surrounded is called as the atmosphere. This thin blanket of air is an integral and very important aspect of our planet. It provides us with the air we breathe and it even protects us from the harmful sun rays, harmful effects of the sun rays. The atmosphere extends up to the height of 1600 kilometers and it is divided into 5 layers based upon its composition, temperature and other properties. So what are these five divisions on which the atmosphere is being divided? First, these layers start from the Earth's surface and they are as follows. First is the troposphere, second is the stratosphere, third is the mesosphere, fourth is the thermosphere and last is the exosphere. Now, the atmosphere is composed mainly of two gases. They are namely the nitrogen and the oxygen, which make up about 99% of the clean dry air. Nitrogen's percentage is 78%, whereas oxygen is 21%. And the other gases which are there, like the carbon dioxide, argon and others, they comprise just 1% by the volume. So all these gases, irrespective of the percentage that they are present in, are very important. Well, oxygen is the breath of life, whereas nitrogen helps in the growth of the living organisms. Similarly, the carbon dioxide, even though it is present in a very small amount, is important as it absorbs the heat which is radiated by the earth, thereby keeping the planet warm. It is even essential for the growth of plants. The density of the atmosphere even varies with the height. How? Let us discuss. So, the density is maximum at the sea level and it decreases rapidly as we go up, which means the climbers experience problems in breathing due to this decrease in the density of air as they move up. So they have to carry with them oxygen cylinders so as to be able to breathe at such high altitudes. The temperature also decreases as we go upwards. The atmosphere even exerts pressure on the earth. Now this pressure which is exerted by the atmosphere also varies from place to place. How? Some areas experience very high pressure, whereas some areas see low pressure. So the air moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. And this moving air is known as the wind. So how do we define wind? The moving air is defined or is known as the wind. Now after discussing about the concept of lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere, we will move on to talk about the continents. So, we all know that there are 7 major continents in our world. These continents are separated by each other by large water bodies. So, the name of these continents are first Asia, second Europe, third Africa, fourth North America, fifth South America, sixth Australia, and seventh is Antarctica. Now we are going to discuss about each of these continents separately. So let us just talk about Asia first. So Asia is the largest continent. Out of all the 7, it is the largest one. It covers about 1/3 of the total land area of the earth and it lies in the eastern hemisphere. The Tropic of Cancer also passes through this continent and Asia is separated by Europe by Ural Mountains on the west. The combined landmass of Europe and Asia is also called as Eurasia, which comes from their name Europe and Asia, that is Eurasia. So after talking about Asia, we will discuss few things about Europe. So Europe is much smaller when compared to Asia. It lies to the west of Asia. The Arctic Circle passes through it and it is bound by water bodies on its 3 sides. Okay. Now we will discuss few things about Africa. So we know Asia is the largest continent. But the second largest continent after Asia is Africa. The equator runs through almost the middle of the continent. A large part of Africa lies in the northern hemisphere. And Africa is the only continent through which the Tropic of Cancer, the equator and the Tropic of Capricorn passes. So this is a very important point, that it is the only continent where the Tropic of Cancer, the equator and the Tropic of Capricorn passes. Also, Africa is bound on all sides by oceans and seas. The world's largest hot desert, that is the Sahara Desert, is located in Africa. And even the world's longest river, that is the Nile, flows through Africa. So these were some important points about the third continent, that was Africa. Now we will discuss about the fourth continent, that is North America. Now North America is the third largest continent of the world. It is linked to South America by a very narrow strip of land which is called as the Isthmus of Panama. The continent lies completely in the northern and western hemisphere, and there are 3 oceans which surround this continent. So North America is the third largest continent. Now we will move on to talk about South America. South America lies mostly in the southern hemisphere. The Andes, which is the world's longest mountain range, runs through its length from north to south. Well, South America even has the world's largest river, and the name of that river is Amazon. Now let us talk about Australia. So Australia is the smallest continent. Out of all the 7 continents, it is the smallest one, which lies entirely in the southern hemisphere. It is surrounded on all its sides by the oceans and seas, and it is even called an island continent. Now after talking about Australia, let us move on to talk about Antarctica. Now Antarctica is completely in the southern hemisphere, and it is a huge continent. The South Pole lies almost at the center of this continent. Now as it is located in the South Polar region, it is permanently covered with thick ice sheets. Now there are no permanent human settlements in this continent. Why? Because it is covered with thick ice sheets, which makes it really impossible to sustain human settlements. Even many countries have research stations in Antarctica. India even has a research station there. They are named as Maitri and Dakshin Gangotri. Okay. Now, after talking about all these 7 continents, we will talk about the oceans. Oceans, as we know, are the major part of hydrosphere. There are 5 major oceans in the world, namely the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Southern Ocean and the Arctic Ocean. Again, we will discuss certain points about each of these oceans. First, let us discuss about Pacific Ocean. Now, Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean. It is spread over 1/3 of the earth. Mariana Trench, that is the deepest part of the earth, lies in the Pacific Ocean. The greatest depth of 11,022 meters is recorded at the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean. It is almost circular in shape, and it surrounds the Asia, Australia and now North America and even the South America. So Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean. Now we will talk about Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is the second largest ocean in the world. Now it is in S shape. Like Pacific Ocean was nearly circular in shape, Atlantic Ocean is S shaped. It is flanked by North and South Americas on the western side and Europe and Africa on the eastern side. The coastline of Atlantic Ocean is highly indented. Now this irregular and indented coastline provides ideal location for natural harbors and ports. Now from the point of view of commerce, it is considered to be the busiest ocean. Now moving on to the Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean is the only ocean that is named after a country, and the name of that country is India. The shape of this ocean is almost triangular, and in the north it is bound by Asia, in the west by Africa, and in the east by Australia. Now we will talk about the Arctic Ocean. The Arctic Ocean is located within the Arctic Circle and it surrounds the North Pole. It is connected with the Pacific Ocean by a narrow stretch of shallow water that is known as the Bering Strait. It is bound by northern coasts of North America and Eurasia. Okay. Now we will talk about the last ocean, that is the Southern Ocean. The Southern Ocean encircles the continent of Antarctica and it extends northward to 60 degrees south latitude. Hence, it is observed that first, all the oceans of the world are connected with one another. In some form or the other, they are all connected with each other. Second, the ocean waters are always moving, or we can say the three chief movements of ocean waters are the waves, the tides, and the ocean currents. Third, the greater part of land mass lies in the northern hemisphere. Then, the highest mountain peak. Which is the highest mountain peak? It is the Mount Everest. It is at 8,848 meters above the sea level. Edmund Hillary from New Zealand and Tenzing Norgay Sherpa from India were the first men to climb the highest mountain peak, that is the Mount Everest, on the planet of Earth on 29th May 1953. Junko Tabei from Japan was the first woman to reach the summit on 16th May 1975, whereas the first Indian woman to climb the highest peak was Bechendri Pal, who climbed the Mount Everest on 23rd May 1984. So these were certain important points. Now, lastly, we will talk about biosphere. That is, biosphere is the domain of life. So what is a biosphere? Well, the biosphere is the narrow zone of contact between the land, water and air. It is in this zone that life that is unique to this planet exists. Now there are several species of organisms that vary in their size from microbes and bacteria to huge mammals, and all of them are present in the biosphere. All these living organisms, including the humans, are linked to each other and to the biosphere for their survival. And the organisms in these biosphere may broadly be divided into the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. Okay. So this was all about the biosphere.